Hello, hello, hello again. Welcome back to Chaotic Minds. As always, it is me, Winged,
And the midget.
and we actually have a special guest here today that we're gonna talk with. Um,
I think we can identify her.
well, even still, she's gone ahead and she has her own nickname, so to speak, for this. So, with that being said, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? As soon
With
as
a
you're
mouthful
done,
of cookies.
as soon as you're done eating your cookie.
Uh, yeah, guys, while she's clearing her face of cookie, um, if I sound like absolute garbage today, I do apologize. Um,
She is not feeling the best right now.
Coughing sucks.
Oh yeah, I. Although I will say this, I would rather cough than have the sneezes all the time. I hate sneezing so bad.
Every day.
It tightens. It tightens everything up, and then it hurts.
Sneezing makes you kind of like a little out of it for a second. Coughing makes me dizzy because I have like zero energy left, but I'd still rather cough than sneeze.
Oh yeah. So
All right.
here, introducing. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Bug.
There we go. This is Bug. She is Midget, my daughter. Midget and mine's Midget and I don't know how to actually put it.
She's our daughter.
There you go. And we figured, we take some time this morning with her to let her go ahead and I've wanted to talk with her on
An outsider's perspective.
well, that and I've honestly wanted to have her on for a hot minute because she is like me, very opinionated and very set in her opinion.
And she's also like me in the fact that she just doesn't give a shit what your opinion is. She's going to tell you hers, and if you don't like it, oh
Yeah, pretty much. So, with that being said,
well. And if
I
you hear
guess-
scratching in the background, sorry, the ferret's going insane because there's more people in here this morning.
the
Ooh,
people are actually
people.
talking. So, with that being said, I guess we go to the first topic of today, which you said that you had an idea of what to talk about.
Yeah. It's something that's running rampant around school and
Well,
other places.
It's been going on for
Decades.
a long. Well, not really.
well,
No, I guess you could call it decades. Holy crap! We
we
are
are
older than Google.
Yeah, I know.
We are older than the internet. What in the actual fuck stick?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And that's cyberbullying.
Yeah.
We have so many different platforms now that
I mean, there's
It's
Facebook,
ridiculous.
Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I mean, you hear all the time,
dating apps.
dating apps. I mean, you hear all the time about people getting canceled on Twitter because of something they've said or
Ooh.
something they've said years ago coming back to haunt them, so to speak.
I'm not the same person I was yesterday, let alone 20 years ago.
But opinions do change at the base of it.
Exactly.
But cyberbullying is something that is completely and totally different. I mean, and nowadays you have things like Snapchat and Kick, and I don't know if anybody actually uses Kick anymore. But you have these apps that you can send something, and then the message gets immediately deleted.
Oh, now Snapchat has this
Or-
nifty little thing you can screenshot it.
Or it gets saved. You can set it to be saved for 24 hours. But if you screenshot something, Snapchat actually lets the other person know.
Yeah.
Like saving a picture, it says, "Oh, hey, this person has saved your photo," or
And you figure that would deter some of the behavior and some of the language that people use.
no,
Oh, they're screenshotting my conversation with them? Yeah, let's probably not say these things anymore.
no, they don't care. They'll go ahead and they'll just start picking harder and make you feel like crap and all this,
Yep.
that, and the other thing. So, Bug, I know that you unfortunately you've experienced it with some stuff at school. This is
Especially more recently.
this is like the second time that you started going through it that you've
With
actually
this one person.
that you've actually let us know about.
Yeah.
So why don't you give a brief rundown synopsis of like what is going on? Like what's your experience with it?
Like my experience with it is like most recently I had to deal with this one kid who was bullying me and my two other friends on Snapchat and he made a bunch of like other accounts
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't know it was him, and he was like messaging himself at first, and then he started messaging everybody else, and then I added the other accounts to try to figure out who it was. And then 3 weeks later, he was still using other accounts, and at this point he had 3 accounts, and he was calling us all a bunch of really rude names, and like he was calling us sluts, whores, and hoes,
Yeah.
and so
Keep in mind, all these kids are around 14, 15 years old.
They're high schoolers.
so he was doing that, and he was just bringing up things from people's past that they don't really tell very many people, and so it like really hurt them.
Yeah.
And then they were being called selfish sluts as well, and there was just a bunch of things, and it was over 3 weeks. And then I accidentally found out when me, my two friends, and the boy who was originally our friend, we were all in the same class when we have drawing together, but I found out by accidentally like I logged out of his Snapchat to log into the other accounts by hitting forget password,
Yeah.
because you can do it that way, and then you can sign into their account.
She was being a sneaky detective.
Oh yeah.
And so I was trying to do that, and I saw all 3 other accounts there with it, and so I froze, and I didn't really know what to do. And then the teacher walked over and told me to give the phone back. So I had to click on his original account, and it took a while to load. So I picked up my phone to make it not seem like obvious that I found out.
Oh yeah.
And then
Be a little sneaky.
yeah, so I told the other 2 people. One of them went home early, and the other person was sitting right by me. And so I told them, and we had to figure out a plan, and we ended up confronting him, me and one of the people that were there. And he tried lying about it, and then I confronted, and I told him that I saw all of the accounts when I logged out of his thing, and he just, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then later he just laughed about it, and
So he had no remorse whatsoever
no,
that he did it.
no. And then 2 days ago, this new account started following people, me and one of my other friends.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of them, because
Active police investigations. We're not going to say names.
so we got messaged on Snapchat. Somebody added us, and I added them back because I didn't want to deal with it. And it was this pretty similar username to one of the other ones the other kid used.
Yeah.
And we dropped that kid because we weren't going to deal with that.
They're intelligent.
Well, not like dropping, but like, you know what? I'm not dealing with you anymore.
Yeah, we blocked him on
Yeah.
everything and just stopped talking to him. And then we were added 2 days ago by this person, and they started saying that they were one of the kid that was doing all this in the first place. Apparently they were his friend,
Yeah.
and they said that the only reason he did all of that to us was because he the other guy was threatening him and like may have something over his head, but we
So
don't.
blackmail.
Yeah, but we don't
Potential
really.
blackmail.
Yeah, we don't really know if it's true though. And one
Because
of-
you guys blocked him.
yeah, and one of my other friends said it was this one person online that was the kid's online friend, but I don't think it really would be them because nobody just admits their name no matter what. So I just don't know what to exactly believe. And so, yeah, that was. And then yesterday they sent us another message about it, and I had to talk to a bunch of staff members and administrators from the school, and I had to tell them more about it. And the kid that started all of this won't be showing up to that school, or probably won't even be on campus, or he is right now, but like we don't see him. And it's probably going to be really rare that we see him in classes, because I have him in we used to have him in drawing, but now he's no longer in that class, and I have him in world history, but I haven't seen him. And one of the administrators said that it's a pretty low chance that I see him, but there is still a chance I do. I just have to talk to my teacher about not sitting next to him because they are redoing the seating chart.
Well, from what it sounds like now, it sounds to me that they are actively trying to take steps to separate you from this individual. From what it sounded
thing
like
is,
beforehand, and I've already said this once, it sounds like, just going off of my own history and seeing TV shows and movies and yada yada, and like I said, my own personal thing, is it sounds like he was trying to knock your guys' confidence and your self-esteem down low enough, and then trying to pretty much make a harem of sorts.
It's the hero homicide complex.
Not really
minus
hero,
the homicide.
Not really hero. I wouldn't say hero homicide. It's more along the lines of, I'm going to pretend to be somebody else, or I'm going to get somebody else.
He was more so like breaking our confidence down and like making us feel really hurt, and then gonna be there to like
I'll lift you up, and I'll support you, and all this, that, and the other thing, and pretty much make it so that way you will come to love me because I did this for you, and I'm not just going to do it for one person. I'm going to maximize my potential output, my potential rewards in that by having 3 people.
Well, I wasn't really a part of it because, like, the only thing that I was called, only name that I was really called was a slut, and it was once because I dated all the guys, and I really haven't. I mean, I've dated a lot of people, but not from, like, middle school to high school.
You've been in a relationship, but not, I personally really wouldn't say dating. But of course, this is like high school, so like
yeah. But
I remember being in high school and having that same stigma, because I was similar when I was younger. I dated a lot of people in high school. I had a different girlfriend, almost bi-weekly.
He had a flavor of the week.
Yeah, but I wasn't like really like dating, so to speak. It was just like, oh, hey, this person's my this person's my girlfriend, and in your case, this person's my boyfriend, and it had the potential of becoming something a little more serious and having that emotional connection, but they showed their true colors beforehand, and it's that part in itself has gotten you pretty low before.
Yeah, but the situation with the one kid, he liked 2 of the girls
Yeah.
who were my friends. I really wasn't even a part of it until, like, I added them on Snapchat. Because if I didn't add them, I wouldn't even be a part of it.
Right.
So he just liked the 2 other girls, and one of them was his best friend, and he doesn't really have very many friends.
I would not imagine so.
Last year he did something somewhat similar, with his online friend, he wrote a bunch of notes and put them in people's lockers, and I was one of those people, and I totally forgot about it. So I gave him another chance without even realizing it until afterwards.
Yeah. And like I said, it sounds to me that he was trying to manipulate the system in such a way where he would become this. It's almost like a hero homicide complex. If you don't know what a hero homicide complex is, it's when somebody will purposefully do something to put somebody else in danger and then go save them. And so it makes it seem like, oh, I was just passing by and I saw that you were there in trouble. So I stepped out heroically to protect you and to save you and to take out this target. And,
It's most common with first responders.
you know, to do all this, so you should love me. And a lot of people do get that I don't know what it's like. Nightingale.
Knight in shining armors.
No. It's like a different thing where it's. I mean, you could see it as a knight in shining armor, but there's an actual term for it. But like they'll look at this person who has saved them, and it's like, I fall in love with you.
Oh, you're talking like
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
It's basically where you're held captive.
Not Stockholm syndrome.
It is a Stockholm syndrome.
No, that's okay. So like, there have been stories where
Okay, we're
a
getting off
paramedic
topic.
has saved the life of somebody by repeatedly doing CPR, or by reaching out and grabbing somebody and holding on to them, putting their own life at risk, keeping them secure while they are getting help. And the person who is rescued feels this like huge emotional response of, this person saved my life. Now I am like emotionally bound to this person. I now love them. And what it turns out to be, it's hero worship.
One of the things that, to kind of steer us back in the direction we were going in the first place is the first time this all happened, I didn't hear shit from administrators. I didn't hear shit from any of them.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I get a call from one of them, and I told him, I was like, something better be done, because the next step for me, when and if we find out who's doing this, is law enforcement.
Oh, yeah.
Because just like that other person and their family chose to do a restraining order against this kid and a no contact order against this kid, it's going to be the same thing here.
Oh, yeah.
And our daughter does not want that, because
Bug is one of those types of people.
she's got a big heart.
She does. She also wants to make a lot of friends. And she doesn't... she tries to avoid conflict.
She tries to give people the
possible.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And the thing is I like I told her yesterday, it's not something she's going to have a choice in. Because if it's what we have to do to keep her safe, it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those things where, like I told the administrator, I'm glad they actually called so I know what's going on. Because before I had that conversation with her yesterday, I didn't know shit had been done. There is an active case, restraining order, and no contact order on this kid. And he is not allowed on school grounds at all because of the safety issue that he caused. And we don't know half of what was sent to this kid from this kid that has the restraining order now.
Well, because he was doing it all through Snapchat.
Yeah, but there were screenshots. They saved them, gave them to the cops, the administrators, and whatever. But it was so bad with this individual. Their parents had no choice but to protect them.
Yeah.
And I completely understand that.
Oh, yeah.
But this is getting out of hand. I mean, it's gotten out of hand for the last few years, but it's especially become bad since Snapchat became big.
Well, here's the thing.
And that's my honest
Cyberbullying,
opinion.
like as bullies in general, have been a thing since like forever. Like you can't look back at a certain point in time in history.
Don't
and be
spell
like,
my first name backwards, and don't give them my maiden name, because that's just a recipe for disaster.
oh yeah, but like it doesn't matter like what time period you've ever lived in. There's been bullying of some form. It's just now they can do it anonymously. They can hide behind their keyboards and hide behind their screen.
Social justice warriors.
Well, it's the opposite of social
I
justice
know,
warriors.
but that's what it popped into my head with the whole hero homicide thing,
Yeah.
like having a social justice warrior around.
But like it's gotten to a point where they can do it anonymously, and you won't know about it until either A, like with you, Bug, you catch them in the act. You know, you have that evidence and you bring it forward, or B, they just don't care and they're just like, yeah, that's me. What are you gonna do about it?
Or that's not fun anymore, so I'm going to stop doing it.
No, it's hardly ever gets to that point. It's more along the lines of this person.
They're sorry. They're not sorry. They're sorry they got caught.
Well, it's more like this person is boring to do it to now, so I'm gonna go ahead and let them off the hook for the moment. I'm gonna put a little bookmark, post-it note, pin in this person for the moment. I'm gonna switch over to somebody else and continue to do this until I do get caught. And then if I get caught, I'm sorry. And that's it. And
Yeah.
they're not actually sorry. They're like you said, Midget, they're just sorry that got caught. They have no intention of changing.
Yeah, and it's just like the administrator said that you have to make the conversation boring for them. Don't like respond to them.
Yeah.
Just ignore them and block them. And
Gee, doesn't that sound a little familiar?
if they aren't, oh my god, if they aren't like somebody who's familiar to you, don't add them. And if it's like the same username as the 3 that they used, don't add them, because it's just a recipe for disaster. And
Oh, yeah.
it happened for 3 weeks, and then it stopped right before our spring break, and then it's been like 2 weeks since it has gone on, and then it starts up again.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that's doing this now is saying that they have to finish the other guy's work. And it's just, it doesn't make sense, because the administrators and the cop at that school, he said that he's just think about I'm going to ask you a rhetorical question. Just think about it on your way out. And I said, okay. And he's what do they have against you to do this? Why would anybody do this if they don't have anything against you? And it's just the thing of, why would somebody take the time to do any of this if there's other better things to do in the world?
Well, there's several answers, and one of them is they're bored. They find it fun. Like, they don't care who they target. Some of these people actually just do like a shotgun blast. Like, they're aiming at one person, but if 6 or 7 people get caught up in it, all the better, because that's more victims. That's more targets. You know, but a lot of it has to do with, like, some people are doing it to get revenge and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I will have my vengeance. And in your case, that could be what's going on, especially with that kid, because you were the one who exposed him. You were the one who spoiled his fun. You were the one who showed everybody everything.
Yeah.
You're the one who got him in trouble. So it could be that it is for revenge. For other people, like people that I've dealt with before, they're bored. So they find a target and they're just like, cool, I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah. But it's just the thing of, like, the new person who has been messaging people didn't know who caught the other kid.
Well, they could be lying and saying, I don't know if you're the one who did.
I don't know. They were asking, were you the one who got the person caught, were you the one that got my friend caught? And
Mhm.
then they decided, oh, they're not really my friend. I literally was just using them so then they can do this. And then they were caught. And I was just telling them to leave me alone
Yeah.
and that I didn't want anything to do with this.
Which is the smart thing. And then what you do from there is you block them and you stop any and all communication.
Yeah, and that's what one of the staff members, the security guards, had us do, and all 4 of us. But it started with one person, the one girl that the kid really liked, that he wasn't best friends with, that had a boyfriend. That he started targeting her and her boyfriend
Mhm.
and started messaging them both, and just so then they can split apart.
Yeah.
And then it was just, and when we were all told to block them, it was her who unblocked him first, and then it was him. It was the kid who, like, he blocked himself technically just with a different account, and then he unblocked, and then I unblocked because they did, and I was still trying to, like, figure out who it was at the time, and I'm honestly glad that I did unblock them because I figured out who it was. Even if it was on accident, I managed to figure out who it was. And the school, when I went with the girl, and we told them that, like, this person is assaulting us and calling us all these names on Snapchat and whatnot, and all the person did, she was well, do you know who they are? And we're just, no, we haven't figured it out. And she's okay, well, when you do figure it out, tell the school and we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And then one of the other staff members, the one that told us to block them, he said don't look for them. So we were, like, being drawn between 2 different things from the school of don't try searching for who it is, don't try figuring out who it is, just ignore them, and being drawn between, well, once you figure it out,
Being torn.
yeah, once you figure
I
it
get
out,
what you're saying.
once you figure it out, just tell us. That's it.
They're trying to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
Well, in some instances, I can understand why they said don't try to search for them. That could be taken for one of 2 ways. One, don't try to search for them online, because that's just going to open up another can of worms. Or don't go looking for them offline in the real life.
Well, yeah, because we thought they were going to our school and thought they were in our drawing class. And I mean, technically they were because it was the one kid,
Yep.
the one boy.
I remember. I wish sometimes, like, I am glad we have the advances that we do and we have, like, everything that we do now. There are times, though, that I wish we could go back to, like, when you and I were growing up and we. No, it wasn't even that. It's like finding, like, having something like this happen, and you just going ahead and beating the absolute brakes off this dude.
Haley tried setting it up.
Who?
Bug tried setting it up.
Oh.
And she's like, all right.
Haley's the other one. That's right. Bug tried setting it up.
She's like, all right, cool. Meet me here, and we'll take care of this the old-fashioned way. And they wondered why dude never showed up.
I don't know. Dude would have gotten the brakes beat off of him.
Oh, I would have paid to see that.
I would have sold tickets.
I told her. I was like, do it.
Now, keep in mind, I do not condone violence.
We really don't.
However, I am a pacifist with a violent
Anger
side.
issue.
Like, I try to be understanding. I try to listen to people. I've been that antagonistic. I've been the bad guy a lot when I was younger. Like, I used to be aggressive to the point where you looked at me wrong, you shoulder checked me by accident, and I was like, you want to go? Let's fucking go. And I would beat the brakes off people or have my own brakes beaten off. I'll admit it, I lost a few times.
And that's the thing.
But as I've gotten older, I've realized that was doing more harm than good. And so I tried, and I have been, believe I've succeeded, and I want to try talking things out first and foremost. If we can express the ideas that we have, and this is something that I've taught all my children. If you're about to get into a fight, first thing you do is you talk. You try to talk. If talking works, great, leave it at that. If talking doesn't work,
Beat the hell out of them.
wait for them to swing first, wait for them to swing second, and then by the third time, lay them out, because at that point it's now self-defense.
No, and this is something I told Bug, is that I don't give a shit. If they're going to be causing you mental and physical harm, because let's face it, some of this online bullying and cyber stalking and cyberbullying, however you want to make the term for it, is causing kids to die.
Oh yeah, there's been several instances that, like, you can check whatever news source you want, and whatever one you listen to.
We should not bury our children.
Where kids will actually unalive themselves because they are being bullied, they are being picked on. I mean, I remember having that thought when I was younger, and I was being picked on all the time, of maybe it'd be better off, maybe this would stop if I wasn't here anymore. And
No, they just find a new victim.
yeah, and that's what it ends up being.
And like I told her, like I told Bug, I don't give a shit. If they're going to cause you mental and physical harm, beat the hell out of them.
Go through the proper steps first.
Nah.
And if they fail, beat the hell out of them.
When the schools don't want to do jack shit,
You can't,
unless they're forced.
Okay, you can't go ahead and just jump to violence right off the bat. An eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. A tooth for a tooth makes the whole world go toothless. So then we end up being ruled by the one-eyed, one-tooth wonder.
Then you don't have anything to break in their face but their bones.
Just because refrigerators give and bones don't does not mean, or just because refrigerators don't give and bones do, does not mean that you should go ahead and just start slugging people.
Yes, it does.
That does not make conversations happen. In fact, 9 times out of 10, it makes conversations not even start to begin with. But there's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's bullying and cyberbullying and cyberstalking is just like, it goes, the cyberstalking at least goes back to the paracausal relationships or parasocial relationships. And it makes no sense. And I can never understand it. If you're stalking somebody in real life, one, creepy as hell. But in a sense, I can understand it. I will never get behind it. I will never be okay with it. But like, I can be like, okay, they're actually going around to see if they could ever just run into this person, to see if this person notices them. It's kind of like that notice me senpai kind of horse shit. But like, from what it sounds like, and I've said this before, this kid wanted to be in a relationship with somebody who was taken, so he wanted to break them up. He also liked this other person, so instead of choosing, he wanted to go ahead and be like,
Play them against each other too.
Yeah, he wanted to be like, I'm going to break both of these people down. If I can get one, fantastic. If I can get both, even better. And let's just go for a 3-peat and try to get Bug involved in it. And that's like one's a single, two's a couple, three's a thruple. He wanted
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
He
And
wanted a
it's just
harem.
like, yeah.
There's no doubt about it. This is why teenage boys make no sense.
I made perfect sense.
You made no sense either.
You didn't know me when I was a teenager.
And
So, like, I knew how to put things. Like, I didn't do jack diddly nothing.
I looked like the sweet and innocent one, and I was the one that was beating the shit out of people.
I will admit, when I was younger, I was not a nice person. Compared to today, regardless of what you think. So shut up.
You're still an asshole.
Shut up. But like the things that I did, you would understand.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, so you can't just do the whole blanket whatever, what's it called? Statement saying, you know, teenage boys don't make sense. No, there's a lot of teenage boys that do make sense, and that's why they're able to get away with half the shit that they do. It's just the teenage boys in this scenario, the teenage boy is an idiot because he could have gotten away with it.
If he would have left our daughter alone.
Had he not gotten the intelligent bug involved.
She's detective material, man.
Detective Bug.
But no, it's like, why? I mean, as parents, the first thing that we've taught our kids is
Respect.
do unto others as you'd have done to you. Like, I mean, don't treat people how you want to be treated. Don't treat somebody like shit just because you can treat them like shit.
Yeah.
Treat them like a decent human being. Show them that there are kind people in the world, which Bug does. But if they wrong you, then punch them.
You're right there, Bug?
Not violence, but like not necessarily punch them physically, but
kill them with kindness. And if that fails, go get kindness.
And that's
which
the
is my
thing
sword in my closet.
And that's the thing is, like, we've taught them to turn the other cheek. That old adage, turn the other cheek.
Bug turns it into turn the other cheek, as in I'm going to turn and I'm going to keep turning until you get a spinning back fist, which is fantastic.
And that's the thing is, like, we teach our kids to be productive members of society. Why can't everybody teach their kids to be productive members of society?
Because other people are idiots.
It's like, where the hell or how the hell did these parents not get clued into what the fuck their kid was doing?
It turns into one of those, and this is where I am going to transition. It's going to be a little bit of a schmoove. I mean, other than this calling it out that it's a transition.
No.
It turns into one of these entitled parents thing, where my child can't do anything wrong. So we're going to go ahead and allow my child to do whatever it is that they want to. Yeah, like r/. Like we there's a YouTuber that we watch. r/dark fluff. They read Reddit stories of, or Tumblr stories and Reddit stories of
entitled
dealing
people.
with entitled parents, entitled children, just entitled people.
And that's the thing, is like
how can there be
seriously
that many entitled people that there has to be an entire subreddit dedicated to telling stories about dealing with these people?
Yeah,
But no, like
it's cringeworthy.
You run into these entitled people, and they're just like, "Well, you should give me this because of this. I'm entitled to it. How are you entitled to it?"
My kid is sweet and innocent. Yeah, that's why your kid is sitting on top of a clock tower. We won't go into that section, but you know,
please.
that's why your kid has a criminal record for doing this. Right. Your kid is innocent. Well, so and so caused this themselves. Okay, how are my bare shoulders or bare legs distracting to you?
Well, like, I'm not saying I am not defending them whatsoever. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to even justify that. What it turns into is the parents will go ahead and believe bullshit, and that's what it turns. That's what it is. The child goes ahead and says, you know, we all, as parents, we all want to believe our children when they tell us something, and we do to an extent until either A, we find out that they've been lying to us. B, it gets brought up, or we get shown evidence
Typically,
that
we call ours out.
that they're not being 100% truthful. Or C, we see through the deception, and we're just
Because
like,
we've
no.
been there.
But every parent wants to believe their child. Some parents just take it an extra step further, where they have blinders on to everything else, and ignoring the fact that my child could do something this bad. No, that's impossible. Not my child. I did not know. And then what makes it even worse, what makes it worse, is there are some parents who will act like that, but they know what their child is doing. They actively encourage what their child is doing, and they're just like, well, their kids will be kids.
And sometimes, I'll say this, sometimes not encourage them, but
no,
I'm saying there are some that are like that know what their kids are doing, know what even their adult children are doing,
and they just don't care.
Just push it off of, oh, they got help for it, so, they're not that way anymore. Duggars. I'm not mentioning any names. No, I would never do anything like that.
You just did. Shut up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They knew Josh Duggar was touching girls inappropriately as a teenager. They sent him to some Reformation camp, some Christian camp, which is all well and good. And now as an adult, they're like, oh, he's innocent, he's innocent. He's in jail for child pornography. How is he innocent? They found terabytes of child pornography. How the hell are you still defending him, saying he's innocent? No.
But you have those parents that they know, but they act like they don't. You have these parents that are like, my child could never do anything, so they don't know until it gets thrown in their face, and then they turn into somebody who knows, but they don't care. They do actually care. They put a stop to it, or they know and they're actively encouraging it, and that's the part that's scary to me, because what are those children going to turn into when they get older?
That's like the whole thing of, well, we know our child is a disturbed individual. We don't believe in medications. We don't believe that he needs therapy. Oh, what do you mean there's a shooting at the school? Oh, my son is the one that killed people? I mean, that's what it's turning into, because there are so many shootings lately, and it's getting ridiculous.
Oh yeah. So what are your thoughts and opinions on this there bug to keep you involved in the conversation? You really haven't been paying attention, have you?
What are we talking about?
Entitled people.
Oh.
And entitled parents. And entitled children.
They honestly deserve to be slapped. And they need to get therapy to be taught how to parent.
Yeah.
And just how to be a human being, because
that one I will agree with you on.
Entitled people drive me up the wall. I don't like entitled people.
Well, I don't think a whole lot of people do like entitled people.
Like somebody that we all know, like somebody who we used to think of as a cousin.
Don't mention any names.
I'm not mentioning names.
Okay.
They would like steal and do a bunch of things, and we took them in to get them out of a toxic relationship, and then they got back in it, and then they never, they don't come see us, and they think that they deserve everything, and they just don't. Let's see, somebody who we used to think of as an aunt.
Oh yeah.
That person is a real entitled person.
Yeah.
And that person we don't speak of because they're just...
There's no real point to it.
Exactly. It's just a waste of breath and energy. And trying to talk to entitled people is a waste of energy, breath, and just everything.
Yeah. Well, trying to talk to somebody, you don't know that they're entitled until, the worst possible second. It's trying to argue with an entitled person that's a waste.
Yeah, I just block my relative that's entitled.
I just don't deal with them. I look at them and I'm like, no. Why aren't you? No. Well, you need no. But you no. Are you gonna listen? No.
Yeah.
And I just walk away.
And then they get the opposite end of that, you know, where their parents know exactly how they are and what they've done. Well, you should give them a chance. They
No.
really need help.
No.
Yeah, I've got that too.
I just look. No. Anytime
And
I deal
until
with,
I explain exactly what has happened, exactly what we've done to keep said person out of jail, and they still stab us in the back, and then this relative's like, oh, okay, that explains why you don't want to help them.
my answer to dealing with entitled people is no. I don't want to listen to them. I don't want to deal with them. I don't want them around me. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get them away from me and let them shuffle off to the next person or just shuffle off the motor coil.
I will help them along that journey.
Let them go away from me, because if I have to deal with them for any longer, they're going to know my foot up their ass. I had one person when I was at one of my old jobs that came in. He used to come in all the time, and like when I first met this person, I was like, okay, they're pretty cool. He's pretty cool. Talk with them, joke around with them, and then he started like, hey, let me do this. I'll get you back late. Once I get done with this job. All right. And then finally, it got to a point where he would just come in just to grab something and then walk out with it. It's like, finally, I was like, no. But no. But no. You can either put it down and leave. You can bring it up here and pay for it. Or you can just leave with the assistance of the police. I'm not doing this for you anymore. You need to leave.
And that's the thing is, like, there are some people that genuinely need the help, and then there are others that take advantage of you giving them help.
Yeah. I mean, take your brother, for example.
That's the example I was using.
Yeah. Yeah, your mom called, and she's like, he didn't know. Like, I could hear it. Like, I'm sitting where I am now. You're over where you're at, which is, we're not next to each other.
No.
And I could hear your mom talking with you, and every time she went to go say something to, like, convince you or whatever, I could only imagine she could just hear very faintly in the background, no. Like, I'm just not dealing with it.
Well, not only that, and then, like I said, I explained to her exactly what we've done to help him in the past, exactly what we've done to keep his ass out of jail, and then he steals $2,000 from us?
Yeah, no. And then she's like, well, he really needs someone to talk to.
No.
Therapist. Like, I was...
Like I told her, I've blocked him. I was like, I have to do what I have to keep my children and myself safe.
And to keep him safe, too.
But your children are teenagers and they can protect themselves.
Yeah.
The way they're protecting themselves is if I go ahead and I put my foot up someone's ass.
Hey, yeah, except for the fact that my children don't take shit from nobody.
No.
And if you come near them and they don't want you near them, they will probably, more than likely, stab you.
No, they won't stab first.
Our
children are not stab first, ask questions later people.
They
are. I will give you exactly 1 second of warning before I stab you.
No, the look on her face says otherwise. Oh, there he is. Cool. I'm going to go actively walk over there and stab him.
Anyways.
I
I tripped with my knife.
I tripped with my knife 9 times.
This is why you don't run with sharp objects.
No, if anybody's seen the movie Chicago, he had it coming. That song, the lady goes, I tripped with my knife 9 times. And that's the only thing that comes to my mind.
Well, how many times why is this person sitting here unconscious and bloody? He fell, sir. He fell, petty officer. Okay, that doesn't explain why he's unconscious. He fell a few times, petty officer,
Into my fist?
into the sink. That's actually a story that a buddy of mine told me.
But no, it's like, and people wonder why victims snap,
Oh,
why
yeah.
they finally snap, and something big happens.
Oh yeah. No, it's just
Don't fuck with people, man. You don't know what
It's-
anybody's capable of. That's all I gotta say.
if you are in the process of dealing with an entitled person, just remember, no, just know them straight out of there. Nope them away. Not like actively hurt them to nope them away. No, just no, no, no. Aren't you gonna do this? No. Do you mind if I? Yes. That's the only time you say yes is do you mind? Yes, I mind. Get the fuck away from me. No, I'm not going to listen to you. No, I'm not going to deal with you. No, I'm not going to put up with your bullshit. No, I'm not going to acquiesce to your request. No, 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 no.
And the thing is what my mother and my brother do not realize is the extent I have already gone to ensure that he can't do anything to bring harm to me or my children.
Yeah, she got with me.
Oh, no. Aside from that, aside from having a built-in bodyguard, I already called social services and told them, hey, I have blocked this person with this phone number because
Social
believe it or
services
not,
or human services.
oh, social services, because they're the ones that handle CPS cases.
Okay.
I already called them and let them know that this is the phone number he's calling from. If you get a report from this person, it's because he's trying to enact revenge. Because every time I manage to piss him off and tell him no, that's what he does. He calls CPS saying that I'm abusing or neglecting my children and that they need to be taken and yada, yada, yada. He's done that, and I'm not kidding when I say this, 44 times in the last 10 years.
Like he's called them?
Yeah. I have 44 calls because he is dumb enough not to be anonymous.
We're not going there.
He's dumber than a box rocks, y'all. But no, it's like
Well-
44 times in 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's to a point now where they see his phone number, like if somebody calls and gives them his number or whatever, they have to at least call people and see people to make sure that they don't have anything going on. But it's to the point now where they look or they see his name or they see the phone number he's calling from, like me preemptively calling and telling them, and they're like, not dealing with your bag of worms today, dude.
No. Just nope. Like I said, just nope people out.
CPS, noping people out.
And that's something that I've tried to, emphasize to you, because you there for a while, you can even admit to this. You were not the best at telling people no. I've tried.
I was not. I would
tried-
help everybody. I
I've-
still will, but I'm not as I'm a little more jaded.
I've tried teaching, our children the same thing. No is a very powerful word. Like, do not eat that cookie on my bed. And you do it anyways.
She shoved that whole cookie in her damn mouth.
But no, it's
I ain't gonna create crumbs.
like I've tried to teach my children the same thing. Like, the most powerful thing that you can say is no. And you can just nope people out. And nothing is going to happen. And if it does happen, hi, that's why I'm here.
Or that's why our certain children walk around with protection.
But it comes down to, like, if you're dealing with a situation that you don't want to deal with, just no. Unless you're dealing with police and you don't want to deal with it, then you do have the right to remain silent.
Just remain silent. Don't talk shit to cops. It's gonna be a lot worse for you.
Please exercise your right to keep quiet
And actually keep quiet.
and then take that quiet time to think.
And it's like I told the administrator yesterday. You guys do what you can to protect my child inside of school, and I'm going to make sure she has a way to protect herself outside the school.
Oh, yeah.
And you asking me to, hey, can you please not eat that cookies? And not telling me no. Just to let you know. It was
Okay,
a
no
question.
eating on my bed.
Oh, we
I
eat on
don't
our
even-
bed.
I don't even eat on my bed half the time.
Horseshit.
I typically eat over here.
She sounds like one of those people that swallows a microphone.
But no, I mean, like, no is a very powerful word. And in dealing with entitled people, no is something that they absolutely cannot stand to hear. You're going to do this for me? No. Then get me your manager. No.
Or you turn a 360 and be like, ta-da!
Like, granted, I've done that before. But no, I had this one lady. She's like, "You're going to give me this discount, ma'am. That coupon has expired, and that sale has expired. It says so right there, big red letters. Well, you're going to do this anyways. No, then get me your manager. I want to speak to somebody in charge. Let me repeat myself. No.
Or my personal favorite that's happened lately, I work at a certain flooring place, and we have a very
Strict.
return policy. You get 90 days, which is way more than generous, to return to
That's
the
3 whole
original
months.
to the original payment form. And then anything 90 to 110 is up to the computer for store credit only. There is no way to override it. There is no way to go around it. And then on top of that, we have the program that determines our returns is a program that is used by many different companies. So if you've had too many high value returns or too many past 90-day returns or past return policy returns, it will decline your return. And you have to call an 800 number, plead your case, yada, yada, yada. Well, I explain this to people, and they're shocked that the computer tells them no, that they can't return something. Sir, you bought this over a year ago.
I want to talk to that computer's manager. No.
And then they get pissed off and start yelling and screaming at me. All the while, keep in mind, my supervisor, my manager, is standing right next to me on the next register over, and she goes, "No, you can leave now
Yeah.
and take your shit with you."
I love telling entitled customers no. Like, I bring joy in it. Like, I had this one guy at one of the places I worked at. I had on my shirt, on my uniform, assistant manager. He looked at me and then purposely moved over into somebody else's line. I had like 2 people in front of me. The person,
That sounds like my creepy stalker. We'll
the
go
other
into
person had like 4 or 5 people. He waited in line to try to return a grease needle for putting grease into ball bearings that he said broke on its own. We took a look at it and we're like, well, the kid took a look at it and it was like, well, that didn't break on its own. He goes, well, I had it like this and it snapped. Well, that was you misusing the product. Well, you're going to give me this return. I have to get, no, you're not. No, I'm not. Well, give me your manager right now. And I'm standing right next to this kid. And I'm like, hi, I've been listening. I've been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Listening. 1, you don't have your receipt. Well, I threw it away. Well, we can't do a return without a
That
receipt.
sucks.
2, you didn't use it correctly, so I'm not going to do this. You're more than welcome to go ahead and go buy yourself another one. I'm not spending another $5 on some crap product that you sell. Well, that's your decision, sir. We have plenty of mechanics who come in here who actually know what they're doing and
Utilize the product
you
correctly.
do it correctly. Are you saying I don't know what I'm doing? I
Yes.
would never insinuate that in the slightest, sir.
I would.
Your actions, on the other hand, do tell me otherwise. Well, this is unacceptable. I want to talk to your manager. Well, if you go out the front door and you look in the window, you'll be able to see the district manager and the store manager's phone number. You can feel free to give them a call in the morning, because by this time they're already done for the day, and they don't take calls after their working hours. And while you're out there, you can go ahead and hop back into your car and leave. So he storms out, yelling and cursing and screaming, goes out to the trash can that we had right outside, starts digging through it and dumping everything onto the floor,
Yeah.
and comes back in with his receipt. See, I have my receipt. Now you're going to do that. No. You can either leave now while I'm still calm, cool, and collected of your own accord. I can go ahead and call the police and have them escort you out and then have you trespassed. Or if you really want to keep pushing, I can clock out, take my shirt off, and I'll escort you out myself. Now, I'm not a huge person,
No.
but I am just big enough that most people look at me, they're like, no. They tell me no. But he goes ahead and he starts backing out, like going out the door backwards. Yelling and screaming like, oh, hey, by the way, while you're out there, you can pick up the mess that you made, and I won't have to let people know about you and your littering. And so he did so in a huff, and he haphazardly threw shit in there, and if it didn't make it, he's like, oh, well.
And I'm going to transition into the last part that I want to talk to about customers and people and stalking and cyberbullying and all that.
Pretty much putting a nice little bow on everything.
When you have others around you that you've explained a situation and they actively do things to protect you, that is the most fantastic thing ever. Like, I have a customer, I have a particular individual who has actively sought out and become pro partners, like put their business in or been an active customer.
Pretty much followed you around
Since I was 14 years old.
That's all creepy, dude.
And he has followed me at every job, bar none, that I've had since then.
Like, even the jobs that you wouldn't think that you'd go into.
Yeah, like I used to volunteer at a animal shelter when I was like 15.
No.
And he came in there. I was working at Kmart, my very first technical job. And he came in there. Like, when I say he's been at every job, bar none, I mean every job.
Like I said. Like
even when I was working at the hospitals.
Yeah, like, you would think, like, most people, when they find a job, they find a niche, right?
Yeah.
I am not one of those people. I like learning different things about different industries. So I've had jobs that range everything from being a cook to selling auto parts.
It's like me.
You know.
And he's found a reason to be at every single one of them. Well, now that everybody at my current job at this flooring place knows exactly who he is, when they see him come in,
they tell you to go out the back.
They tell me, hey, when he starts walking up towards the register, go on a break. And I do. And the thing is if we're caught off guard or it's been slammed and he sneaks in the line, he will purposely let other people go ahead of him so that he ends up at my register every single time. And that's why my boss and my other coworkers have started to be like, hey, Naomi, you should. Isn't it time for your break? Isn't it time for your break, midget? Isn't it time for your break?
Or like the one that you told me, like they looked at you and they're like, hey, what's his name is called looking for you, and like they give like a name for a person. And
yeah.
So you're okay. So you go back. Like the first time it happened, you went back there and you're like, so what'd you need me for? I didn't.
And then I caught on to what they were doing, and then it's like, yeah, it's become a routine now. But on days that he shows up and I'm the only one at the register,
Yeah.
then I call. I have certain words that I can use to get other members of the floor team. My favorite to call up is Phoenix, and that's not his actual first name, but everybody knows him by Phoenix.
Yeah. It's kind of like Wolfie.
And he's a older black gentleman that has a mohawk and doesn't give two shits about what anybody's opinions are. He will straight come up and be right beside me and asking me questions and doing what he can to hurry this person along and get them the fuck out.
Does this person like actively try to make conversation with you?
Oh yeah, he's walked up to me and hugged me, and
Don't touch me.
Exactly. And Mary, like very merrily just walking up and being like, "Hi, give me a hug," and it's like, "Ew, don't touch me." And my supervisor would be like,
No.
"Hey, didn't you take your break yet? Why don't you go on a break?" And they'll take over, even with me still signed in on the register.
Pisses them off. It's fantastic.
And that's the thing is, like, one day I got sent on a break when this individual came up, and then after they were done, they literally took their stuff out to their car, walked back in, and walked back towards the break room, which is where the bathrooms are, and waited, sitting on the bench, waiting for me to come out of the break room. It's like, but
at that point, like, what do?
You can't do anything, because now the police won't do anything and won't trespass them or give them a restraining order or no contact order unless they physically harm you.
Well, no, like, I was being sarcastic at that point. Like, at this point, like, if they're sitting outside of your break room, like, what do? You get on the radio and you're like, "Hey, I need somebody back here, right meow, because this guy is sitting outside of the break room in an area where he's technically not supposed to be." Either that or you go ahead and you start talking very loudly so that way everybody can hear. "You're not supposed to be back here, sir," and that's all you say.
Well, in where he was sitting, he's allowed to be because it's the bench that we have for customers to sit on right outside the bathrooms. That's where he likes to sit, and that's right outside our break room.
Yeah, at that point you just go ahead and you keep your walkie on you, and you let them know, like, "Hey, he's here. Can somebody, like, do something?" Like, that would be my response. Like, I can't say that I've ever had a situation like that happen to me, because it's me. I'm not the best looking. I do have that charisma to be able to talk to somebody and to keep their attention, but, like, I'm very abrasive, and I will be the first one to admit that. But at the same time, like, I don't put up with that kind of stuff. So, like, if somebody was to try to do that with me, it's like, "No, you need to get, I'm not dealing with you. You need to get, no. Turn into one of those Martians from Sesame Street, the nope, fucking person. Nah, fuck that shit. I'm sorry."
And that's the thing is, like, people don't take these kinds of cases seriously until something bad happens.
Yeah.
And that's not the way it should be. Like, we should be taking care of this when it becomes a problem, not when something happens.
Yeah. Like, and that's the problem, is people don't want to do that. And it turns into one of these situations.
Or they're in absolute denial.
It turns into one of these situations where it's like either something gets done or somebody's going to take things into their own hands and Batman this shit. You know, and that's across the board now, whether it's, you know, bullying on Snapchat or, you know, entitled people acting a certain way or, you know, creepy stalker people acting another way. It's like, this is a problem that needs to be addressed and solved by somebody who that's their job to solve it.
And that's sad that we need somebody in a specific job title to deal with these kind of people.
Yeah, it really does, because like if you are not human, if you cannot treat somebody like
With
a
dignity
human,
and respect.
yeah, then that's an issue.
What W the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, dummy the fuck or W the fuck?
I said W the fuck.
You said dummy the fuck.
I don't feel good. That's my defense.
I'm just gonna use that as an excuse.
I feel like absolute garbage, guys.
But I mean, it I don't know.
And that's the thing. It's like we shouldn't have to have a person in a job title that's all they deal with. We should be decent enough human beings to police ourselves, so to speak.
People don't care.
No, and that's the thing.
This
And
is the jaded side of me.
and
People don't
that's-
care.
And that's the thing. And that's why we end things the way we do on our podcast. Don't be a dick. Don't forget to love each other. Help everybody that you can. Do things to help people.
That's something that we try to instill into our children, and for the most part,
We've succeeded.
there are times where one of our children,
Their jaded side.
well, no, I was gonna say one of our children likes to feel like they should be able to do whatever it is that they want to do.
Forgetting that they're still teenagers.
Yeah, and if you don't do what they want you to do, they start throwing a fit.
But then again, we were like that too as teenagers. We grew out of it, though. For the most part.
I was not like that as a teenager.
Horse
because
shit.
because I got my parents were old school, and if we didn't do something that our parents if I didn't do something my parents told me, my ass was about as red as my sheet.
Well, guess what? Women do that men do not. Scientifically proven. They mature. They do more than men.
About that.
Men have the mindset of a teenage boy.
No.
Majority of them.
Some.
Majority.
Don't get me wrong. We have the humor of a teenager. We laugh at fart jokes. We laugh at ball jokes. We laugh at people getting smacked in the nuts. We laugh at people falling. Like, we have the humor of a teenager. But most men are mature enough to realize, oh, hey, I fucked up. And the ones that you hear about on like the TV and on radio and on shows or podcasts or videos on YouTube or whatever, those are a minority, but because they are a minority, everyone focuses on them. That's how it goes. Squeak wheel gets the grease.
Most men are still immature.
No.
Yes.
But that being said, I think we are going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. So thank you all for listening.
Even though I probably don't sound the best.
Thank you, Bug, for being our first special
Official
guest.
guest. Yay!
And thank you for telling us stories.
Yeah.
Doing along with us.
I enjoyed it.
If this is something that you want to do, if you want to continue to do, we can definitely work something out.
Yeah. We could do it every now and then. Yeah.
But with that being said, don't forget to love each other.
Yeah, don't forget to love each other.
Love.
Don't forget to be a human.
There you go. Don't forget to be a human. Fucking fantastic.
And most of all, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. So, anyways, later, guys.
Later.